everyone, my name is Jessie Jennings and welcome to Let's Paint Live, our monthly paint party where we teach you to paint a full painting in just about an hour. So tonight is our Valentine's Day edition, so we'll be painting this painting called Just Lovely. It's really easy, really fun, and it's great for beginners. So this is a great time to paint with your loved one, your significant other, your galentine, or just enjoy some time for yourself. It also makes a great gift for Valentine's Day, so just something fun to do this time of year to kind of celebrate love and celebrate crafting. So I have Dylan Estes in the studio here tonight, so if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. Let us know where you're painting from, if you're painting along, if you're planning on painting later, we'd love to hear from you. And now I'll let you know the supplies you'll need for this particular class. So in front of me I have a 12 by 12 canvas, so you can use a stretch canvas or a wood panel, either one works fine. I'll be using our Let's Paint Live kit just like always. And if you're not familiar, our Let's Paint Live kit you can purchase, it's 24 colors, and you can paint any of our monthly paint nights. So any Let's Paint Live, you can go to plaidonline.com to find any of the classes, they're all free. You can paint any of those paintings with our Let's Paint Live kit. So make sure to check that out, it's a really awesome deal, and you can get so many classes out of it. So specifically the colors we're using are Wicker White, Dutch Aqua, French Blue, Lavender, bright pink, and then we've also got baby pink. So a really cute little pastel, cool tones palette tonight. And then I'll also be using a gold paint pen, so any kind will work, whether it's water-based or oil-based, whatever kind you prefer. Any gold paint pen will be great. This will be kind of some finishing touches. I've got my water basin, my paper towels, and then our 10-piece variety brush set, which is included in the Let's Paint Live kit that I mentioned earlier. So like I said, a great value because you get all 24 of those paints and the brushes that go with it. So unless we have any questions, Dylan, or any comments.
We've got a lot of comments about your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody loves your shirt.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I was trying to be festive for Valentine's Day. Okay, cool. So we can go ahead and start base coating our canvas. So this is a really simple step, of course. Oh, and I do want to mention I've got a hair dryer here. So since we'll be doing some layering tonight, you'll want to have a hair dryer, which we use often for our Let's Paint Live, to kind of keep things flowing and make sure we can finish our painting in just about an hour. So first off, I'm going to grab some of my baby pink. I'm going to put some of that on my palette. And you want a good bit because this is going to be base coating, as you can see, our entire canvas. So you're going to need quite a bit of this. So I've got a large flat brush here. So this is a 3/4 inch flat. I'm going to start in the top left corner, and we're just going to cover the entire canvas with this baby pink. And since we're using our FolkArt matte acrylics tonight, they've got really great coverage. It's going to be one coat and done. We're not going to have to do multiple coats, which is awesome when you're painting. I'm kind of an impatient painter. I've said that a lot before on my classes, so I don't like to have to dry and go back and do second coats. So this makes it much more enjoyable since we're using our FolkArt paints. And whenever you are base coating anything, a lot of people tend to use a lot more paint than you need. A little bit goes a long way, especially when you're using our FolkArt acrylics, but you just need just enough paint to cover the canvas. You don't need to glob it on and kind of smear it around. Like I said, especially since it has such good coverage, you just need a little bit, just enough to get that full coverage. Spread it out nice and even and smooth, just enough to cover that canvas. And A, you're going to save some paint. B, you're going to save some time. And C, it's going to dry much faster. So again, goes into that time-saving part. You just need a little bit of paint and just spread it out nice and evenly.
And Jess, we actually have a first-time viewer on YouTube, Pat.
Oh, welcome. Hey, Pat. Thanks for joining us. So Pat, you're the perfect person to tell this to. I mentioned this earlier, but we do this every single night, and we've done it for 4 or 5 years now. So as you can, or not every night, every month.
Every Thursday. Oh, yeah, the first Thursday of every month.
Yeah, the first Thursday of every month, I should say. But we've been doing it for close to 5 years. So you can go on our YouTube channel and also on plaidonline.com and find all of our previous Let's Paint Lives. And they're all free, and they're all painted with this 24-piece kit. It's a lot of me teaching, but we also have lots of other great teachers like Emma Panuski and Kirsten Jones, and even some Donna Dewberry if you're familiar with One Stroke. So make sure to check out those other classes, and you can paint them all with our Let's Paint Live kit, which is so fun and so simple. Our Let's Paint Live kit would actually be a great Valentine's Day gift for the painter in your life. If you want to appreciate them and show them some love this time of year. I love getting new viewers. That's so fun. So I'm just going back and I'm adding the last little bits of pink to cover up all the white on our canvas. Just making sure it's nice and smooth. Sometimes I can see in the camera too if I missed a spot. It's easier than looking down because there's a bit of a glare. Just make sure it's all covered. Okay. So I have a nice even coat that looks perfect. So I'm going to wipe the excess paint off of my brush, and then I'm going to make sure I clean it well, get all of that paint out of there before I move on to the next color. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my hair dryer and I'm going to dry my base coat. So whenever I'm drying paint, I like to go on the highest air setting, and then I sort of toggle between hot and cold. I go hot until my painting starts getting kind of warm, and then I'll switch over to cool and kind of go back and forth until it's all dry. Oh, there we go. Okay, and that looks all dry. That's the great thing about acrylic paint, especially matte acrylic, is that it just dries so quickly. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna do a really fun little pattern to kind of fill up this background. So it's kind of subtle. You can see these cute X's and O's, hugs and kisses that fill up our background and just make the background a little more interesting for our pretty heart that we're gonna do later. So I'll show you how I did that. I'm gonna grab one of my small round brushes. So here is a #1 liner brush, and this comes in our 10-piece variety set. I'm going to set that down, and I'm going to put a little bit of my wicker white onto my palette. So you'll also need some baby pink. I've already got some from our base coat, so I'm not worried about that. But if you need to add some more, go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to grab my flat brush just for mixing because it'll be a little bit easier to mix with. And I'm going to get some baby pink, and I'm going to dip a little bit of wicker white into there, and I'm just going to lighten that up just a tone or two. You don't want it to be super light, but you want it to be lighter than our base coat, and it looks kind of similar still, so I'm going to pick up some more wicker white, and I'm going to keep adding that in until I get the color that I'm looking for. So just, like I said, just a touch lighter than our base coat so that it really stands out from that pink, but not too much that it's like super duper noticeable. We want it to kind of subtly fade into the background, but still able to see it. Okay, I think that's good. I like that color. So I'm going to get all the excess paint out of my brush, make sure that I wipe the excess paint. And then whenever I mix with my brush, I always make sure I get all of the paint out of it because it really, when you're mixing with it, it really works the paint into the bristles and the ferrule, and you want to make sure you clean that all out. Okay. The water out. All right, so now I'm going to move on to my #1 liner brush, and I'm going to pick up some of my lighter baby pink here, and I'm going to start in the top left, and I'm going to do really quick X's and O's. And I'm not going to spend too much time having perfect handwriting because you want them to look really quick and sort of scripty, like someone was just jotting down an X and O in a card, sending someone hugs and kisses. We don't want it to be too perfect. So you can see I'm going super fast. I want it to be imperfect and sort of quick looking. That's kind of the look we're going for. And if you start painting and you find that your pink is either too light or too dark in comparison to your background, feel free to go back and switch it up a little. No reason you can't. And I'm going to try to go kind of like XO, XO opposite, like a checkerboard. So I start with an O there, so it kind of lines up. But if you don't get that lined up, then do not stress about it. That's not a big deal. So Dylan, do you have any Valentine's Day plans this year?
I do. I'm going to a Valentine's Day party. I'm
Fun.
setting up a photo booth. Yeah, I don't usually go to Valentine's Day parties or have them, but I'm excited this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear all about that.
Yeah,
And
it'll
see
be
the
fun.
pictures from the photo booth.
Mm-hmm. I think we usually at Plaid have a lot of Galentine-themed projects.
We do. We are pretty female heavy here at Plaid, which we're very proud of. We have a lot of female artists here, so we do Lots of Galentines. We love our Dylan and our Andy and all of our guys here too, but we do end up with a lot of Galentines celebration going on.
We also have another first-time viewer, Joe, on our Facebook.
Welcome, Joe.
That's awesome.
I'm happy you're here. Let us know, guys, if you have anything fun going on for Valentine's Day, if you're going away with your special someone, or if you're celebrating with your kids. I'd love to hear it.
Do you have any Valentine's Day plans?
You know, I don't think I do this year. Usually my husband and I will at least, go to dinner or exchange chocolate or something, but we've got our little baby this year, so I think I'm just going to spoil him instead. I've got a new Valentine. Sorry, Justin.
All the binkies and babas.
Yeah. Maybe you get him some new pacifiers for Valentine's Day. I think he'd appreciate that.
This is like a nice, gentle, compassionate version of The Matrix.
Yeah. All the O's.
Uh-huh.
That's funny. Yeah, it's kind of relaxing. That's why I like to do it quick, too, because you get that fun sort of scripty look, and it goes by more quickly.
Oh, yeah, Joe said my mom's maiden name was Valentine, so Valentine's Day is special.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Cool.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Our director here, Kira, you guys probably know her from a lot of the live streams. Her last name is Valentine, so she says she always tells people like Valentine, but with a B. I think I'll probably give Justin this painting for Valentine's Day.
You'll have two of them, so you got to do something
Yeah.
with them.
Hopefully he's not watching, so it can still be a surprise.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he probably has a lot of your paintings.
Yes, he
somewhere.
does.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he appreciates every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. And displays them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Definitely. My mom usually calls dibs on them. She'll text me later and be like, "Can I have that one?"
It'll
I'm
go
like,
perfect next to my Ray Dunn gnome.
honestly, you're not wrong. It'll look pretty cute with her Ray Dunn collection. Any Ray Dunn collectors out there? My mom kind of caught on to the hobby more recently, but she's got a lot of cute Valentine's Day stuff. In fact, my mom might be watching. Wouldn't be surprised if she chimed in soon. She likes to tune in for our Let's Paint Lives. Okay.
While Jessie's finishing up, for those of you who are new, or you are in our group and you may not have joined us for a lesson in a while, we have recently started doing Monday night paint night classes on YouTube and Facebook, a dual stream, 3 Mondays out of the month. So be on the lookout for those as well. It's a similar style, and we look forward to having you on those classes as well. You'll see the projects listed, just like this one, and you'll be able to sign up for those and join us on Facebook or YouTube, whichever you're able to join on.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of fun. We're getting to paint with you guys a lot more, which we love. It's our favorite thing to do here. All right, so finally finish up with our X's and O's. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blow dry this while you can all finish up your X's and O's in your background before I move on to the fun part, which is our big heart in the center. right, so our background is nice and dry, or at least dry enough to start painting our heart. So to paint our heart, I'm going to freehand it, but I know that that kind of scares some people. It can be a little bit intimidating trying to paint a perfect shape, just freehanding it. So you can feel free to grab a pencil, but another really easy way to do it, it's something that'll make it sort of guaranteed perfect, is to grab a scrap piece of paper, a notebook paper or some printer paper, and fold it in half and kind of do your, old school Valentine's technique. Do your half heart on the folded line and cut that out and trace it. And while that may not be a perfect heart, it'll at least look perfect because it'll be symmetrical. So even if it's, wider or narrower or taller or shorter, however it ends up, if it looks perfectly symmetrical, it's going to look neat every time. So that's a really sort of quick and easy sort of technique. Actually, Dylan, would you mind grabbing me a sheet of paper?
Yeah.
From the printer? Just so I might as well show you guys.
Sure, everyone at home will do the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I have a sheet of paper right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half. I'm going to do it sort of like short ways. And then you can grab a pencil or a marker, whatever you have. I'm going to use my paint pen, so I've got it here. And this is the folded side. So this is the side that opens, the folded side. You're just going to draw your half heart. And then what you'll do is you'll cut it out with some scissors. You'll open it up and you'll have a perfect heart. I don't have any scissors. You'll have a perfect heart to trace onto your canvas. So like I said, even if it's not perfect, if it ends up being taller or shorter or narrower or however it ends up being, thanks Dylan, it'll be symmetrical, so that'll look good. So here, I'll show you what I mean. So I've got my half paper. This is just like old school Valentine's style. Just a little trick for making a perfectly symmetrical heart. I'm cutting through both layers of my paper. And now, like I said, no matter what, your heart is going to be nice and symmetrical. So you can take this shape and you can take a pencil and you can just trace it right on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use my paintbrush to trace it. Like I always do, I kind of like to sketch with a, oh, Dylan's handing me a pencil, thanks. Okay, so we'll use our pencil, but like I said, if you don't have a pencil, this wasn't in the supply list. If you don't have these things handy, please feel free to go ahead and just, freehand it. It's kind of like a really loose and fun and painterly brushstroke sort of heart, so it's not perfect. It'll still look beautiful in the end. Don't worry about it. But this is just a really simple sort of trick to get it to be perfect. So I'm going to center it as best I can, and then I'm going to trace.
As you're doing that, we had a question if Jax has your red hair, and I guess it's TBD, right? Like he's kind of dirty brownish blonde.
It's looking pretty brown.
Yeah.
My husband has brown hair. We are all very curious. I have a nephew. My sisters and I all have red hair. You guys know Emma Panuski. I don't know if you know, she's one of my sisters. She also has, her hair's even redder than mine. We have an older sister who had a little boy the same time that I had Jax, and he does have red hair. So we weren't really sure. We were very, very anxious to see, but Jax looks like he's going to be a brunette, which is okay. He's still cute. Okay, so now you can see we have a perfectly symmetrical heart, and it was super easy and super quick. So now's the fun part. Now it's going to be really loose and painterly. We're going to start adding brush strokes of color. We're not going to base coat it. We're just going to start adding these really loose and expressive brush strokes. So I'm going to add all the colors I'm going to need to my palette so we can kind of go back and forth and play with color. So I'm going to grab some of my Dutch Aqua, put a little on there, which is really pretty. I love this color. It's like a minty color. I've got my French Blue, which is more of like a sky blue. My Lavender, Bright Pink. And then we don't need our baby pink because that'll just blend into the background. So I'm going to start with one of my larger brushes. We're going back to our 3/4 inch flat brush. This is the one we use to base coat our canvas. And I'm going to start by picking up, I'm kind of going to go in color order. And what I mean by that is do colors that are similar. Because we're going to be layering them, we don't really want to start off with like a pink and a green, because if you think about it, the closest to those colors in the color wheel is green and red, and if you mix those together, you're going to get brown. So we're going to kind of go almost in the order that I have in my palette here: green, blue, purple, and then pink, and then dry, and then green, blue, purple, pink again, and that's going to keep the colors from getting muddy. So we can kind of see what I mean as we go. So I'm going to pick up some of my Dutch Aqua and get it onto my bristles. I don't need too much. You can see you don't want a ton of paint. And I'm going to hold my brush upright and kind of go long ways. We're not going to pull down like we were base coating, where we use that wide edge of our brush. We want to use the narrow edge of our brush so we can get some narrower lines. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to start here. I'm going to start on the outside edge and kind of start making that shape. And I'm going to do a brush stroke there. And I'm going to start doing this kind of all around my heart, but I'm going to stay with that sort of heart, that sort of movement of the heart. So sort of the two lines that make up the heart, we're going to continue those throughout our heart and sort of stay in that general direction. So I'm just doing really expressive brush strokes, always following the direction of these lines that make up the outer edge of our heart.
That is just lovely.
Thank you, Dylan. And then I'm going to wipe off the excess paint. And I'm not going to clean it all the way because I'm going to pick up some of my blue. And if those two mix together, it'll still be pretty. So I'm going to pick up some of my blue, and I'm going to keep doing the same technique. And you can overlap these a little bit. You can sort of keep them apart. It's kind of up to you at this point. You can make some brush strokes thinner and some thicker. It kind of just depends on how you're feeling. And again, always following the direction of those outer lines on our heart. So you get that movement in your painting, which is really beautiful and really fun. Okay, so now you can even go back and pick up some more green. If the two colors blend together, that is okay. It'll be really pretty if that happens. You could pick up a thinner brush if you wanted to. Just be really loose with it. All right, so I have a good bit of blue and green on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clean my brush before I switch over to my purple. I don't want it to blend too much because I don't really want my purple to mix too much with these. So we're just going to clean our brush off, and I'm going to pick up some of my lavender. We're going to keep doing the same thing. Like I said, if these mix a little, it won't be too muddy. I'm going to try to avoid them as best I can for now, and then we can overlap them a little bit more later once we do a little bit of a dry in between. But you can be really creative and just really loose with this. It's a very relaxing sort of technique. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just creating these big, bold brush strokes. We're going to fill up our heart. How's everybody doing out there, Dill?
I think we're doing all right.
Good.
People are commenting, very pretty. Love
Good.
this.
Thank you. This would be a really great one, too, to paint on a Valentine. You could use these FolkArt matte acrylics on paper as well, on a nice thick paper for painting, and fold it into a card. This would be really, really pretty as a Valentine card. All right, I'm going to clean my brush off, and I'm going to do some white now. I don't think I remember to tell you guys to put white on your palette because I already have some. So if you need to put some more wicker white, please feel free to go ahead and do that now because I'm going to put some white on next. I'm going to get a fresh paper towel. I always want to get the excess water out of my brush. I don't want to have any water in my brush when I pick up paint. I'm going to do some, excuse me, I'm going to do some white. And of course, the white can go on top of any of the colors because it'll just make a lighter version. You don't have to worry about the white making any of your colors muddy. I'm still kind of focusing on the light pink areas to make sure I'm getting all of that covered. but I'm blending in with, you can see it's sort of picking up some of the colors beneath, and it's looking almost like watercolory. It's very pretty. I'll grab a little bit more wicker white. Again, I'm really just focusing on these light pink areas still showing. Make sure we get it all covered. Okay. And now, before I add that last color, which is this really pretty bright pink color, which is going to be a really dramatic pop, I do want to dry it just because, like I mentioned before, I don't want that pink blending in with the greens. I don't even really want it blending with the blues that much. So I'm going to dry it so that the pink really stands out and kind of just sits on top of all the rest of the colors. I'm going to do that now. Okay, so that's dry enough to start doing our pink. So again, back to my 3/4 inch brush. I've got my hot pink, my bright pink, I should say. And now I really want to focus on wherever there's like light pink showing, I really want to cover that up. I want that all to be covered. So since this is the last color we're going to be using, now's the time to really focus on those areas. You can see this is a really bright pop of color compared to these like softer pastel-y colors that we've been using, but I think it's really fun. I use this bright pink in a lot of my paintings. I just think it's a really fun contrast. Find a way to liven up any painting. Okay, so I'm happy with the way that looks. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dry it one more time before we add our final touch, which is adding some fun little doodles and details with a paint pen. Again, make sure I clean my brush. I never want to leave paint in my brush. We're going to dry it one more time. So it's nice and dry. So again, I'm just using a gold paint pen here. I just got this at the craft store, so if you've got oil-based or water-based, or even if you just want to use some gold acrylic paint with a fine brush, that works too. That's great. This is just a little bit quicker. So I'm going to shake my paint pen and get it ready. And then I'm going to do these really fun, just little added details, which I think just makes it kind of like youthful looking and doodly. Just a fun little detail for a Valentine. I'm gonna do my little heart in the middle here. Then I'm gonna do some XOs to sort of mirror that background. Can't really see it there, but there you go, now you can see it. Do some squiggles. And again, I'm still really following the shape of that, of the heart. I'm still following that outer shape, like just like we were doing when we were doing our brush strokes. Kind of going with the direction of all of the brush strokes here.
And we had a question about if you'll be able to view this video later. Absolutely. This will be living on our Facebook page, on our Plaid Crafts page, as well as on our YouTube channel in the Let's Paint Live playlist. So you can find those right after this live stream is over. You'll be able to go back and watch the full stream.
Yeah, just like we mentioned earlier, you can see any of our previous Let's Paint Live classes there. So it'll, like I said, it'll be a lot of me, but a lot of our other great instructors too. So make sure to go check those out, right where Dylan said. All right, guys. The last step for our really fun Valentine's painting is to sign your name. You can use it while you've got your paint pen out. And that is it for our Valentine's Day painting, Just Lovely. So guys, I had so much fun painting with you. Don't forget, this is a really great way to spend some time with your Valentine or your Galentine, or to make as a gift for your special someone, or just to spend some time, you know, for yourself and relax and take the time to do something just for you. Like I said, I had so much fun painting with you. We are here every the first Thursday of every month teaching you another Let's Paint Live painting in just about an hour. So I'm going to debut next month's painting, which is a really pretty floral. It'll be springtime, it'll be March, so I'm excited to teach you this. It'll be me again, to teach you this fun floral vase painting. So again, the first Thursday of next month at 7:30 Eastern Time, and we'll see you then. Bye.